Question 1. In a modern context of inventory valuation, Maria's organization handles high-value serialized components with fluctuating costs. The finance team wants the valuation to reflect the most recent purchase prices to ensure profitability analysis is current. Which valuation method should Maria recommend? A. Weighted average cost. B. Standard costing. C. Last purchase price. D. FIFO costing. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Last purchase price is ideal when the business needs valuations to match the latest market cost, giving a close reflection of current economic conditions. Weighted average smooths fluctuations, which may not provide real-time market alignment. Standard costing fixes a predefined cost, risking outdated values in volatile markets. FIFO applies chronological consumption, which may distort valuation. Older lower-cost stock remains in balance. Question 2. While examining order management workflows, Daniel encounters a customer order held due to a credit check failure. The customer service team insists the order must bypass this hold urgently due to a contractual commitment. Which action aligns best with compliance and control principles? A. Disable the credit check rule permanently. B. Temporarily override the hold for the specific order. C. Assign a different order type without credit check. D. Cancel and rebook the order to bypass the system. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Temporarily overriding the hold maintains systemic integrity while enabling urgent fulfillment. Permanently disabling the rule erodes financial risk controls. Using a different order type circumvents established approval mechanisms and increases risk exposure. Canceling and rebooking undermines transaction traceability and can cause reporting inconsistencies. Question 3. In light of recent developments in supply chain efficiency, Olivia needs to ensure in-transit shipment tracking between two inventory organizations includes accounting for goods while still in transport. Which shipping method should she configure? A. Direct inter-org transfer. B. In-transit inter-org transfer. C. Drop ship to customer. D. Internal sales order. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. In-transit inter-org transfer tracks and accounts for goods during transportation, updating inventory upon receipt. Direct transfers immediately adjust both organizations' on-hand balances without tracking transit. Dropship bypasses internal inventory. Internal sales orders facilitate demand transfer but rely on in-transit configuration for transit tracking. Question 4. From the perspective of pricing strategy, Kevin needs a configuration that applies different discounts automatically based on customer segment, product type, and order volume. Which setup best supports this? A. Price lists with qualifiers. B. Basic price list only. C. Manual discounts during order entry. D. Price list with static surcharges. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Price lists with qualifiers allow automated, rules-based adjustments by segment, item, and quantity. A basic price list lacks conditional logic. Manual discounts are error-prone and inconsistent. Static surcharges add cost but do not provide differentiated discounts. Question 5. When considering physical inventory, Sophia finds count discrepancies for serialized items and needs to maintain precise audit trails. Which approach ensures both correction and compliance? A. Just inventory quantities directly without referencing serials. B. Use physical inventory adjustment for serialized items with proper serial entry. C. Delete and recreate serial numbers to match physical count. D. Transfer excess items to an expense account. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Physical inventory adjustments with correct serial input ensure reconciliation and audit compliance. Direct adjustments without serials break traceability. Deleting and recreating serials destroys historical links. Transferring items to expense misclassifies assets and violates asset control procedures. Question 6. In response to seasonal demand spikes, Liam configures defaulting rules so high-priority customers automatically get earliest ship dates. Which setup parameter in order management supports this? A. Sourcing rule priority. B. Scheduling rule. C. App rule. D. Defaulting rule with condition sets. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Conditional defaulting rules allow ship dates to auto-populate based on customer attributes. Sourcing rules prioritize supply sources, not scheduling. Scheduling rules affect date calculation, but without direct customer-based priority logic. App rules check availability, not customer priority defaults. Question 7. Given the circumstances of a subinventory transfer between restricted and unrestricted locations, which control prevents material movement unless quality inspection is complete? A. Locator control. B. Material status control. C. Cycle count control. D. Reservation control. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Material status control enforces movement restrictions based on quality or operational conditions. Locator control only ensures storage accuracy. Cycle count control relates to counting accuracy, not quality holds. Reservation control allocates stock but doesn't prevent transfers based on inspection status. Question 8. By comparing different order entry scenarios, Emily notes that orders with future ship dates automatically reserve inventory ahead of fulfillment. Which system behavior is responsible? A. Immediate reservation upon booking. B. Deferred reservation on pick release. C. Soft reservation until app confirmation. D. Reservation at scheduling based on promised date. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Reservation at scheduling ties allocation to the promised date, ensuring stock is set aside early. Immediate reservation at booking ignores lead times. Deferred reservation waits for pick release, risking allocation loss. Soft reservations hold inventory tentatively and can be overridden, unlike firm scheduling reservations. Question 9. Throughout the course of integration with purchasing, a procurement receipt should automatically increase on hand balances in the specifics of inventory without additional manual steps. Which receiving option enables this? A. Standard receipt with put away. B. Direct delivery. C. In transit receipt. D. Staging receipt with manual transfer. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Direct delivery updates on hand quantities in the destination subinventory immediately. Standard receipt with put away involves extra steps. In transit receipt applies to inter-org, not supplier deliveries. Staging receipt delays subinventory update until manual transfer occurs. Question 10. Considering the evidence from cycle count history, Ethan observes recurring discrepancies in a high-security warehouse. He suspects timing issues between transactions and counts. Which best practice minimizes such errors? A. Freeze inventory transactions during counting. B. Perform counts during peak operational hours. C. Use historical averages to adjust automatically. D. Allow transactions during counts but flag discrepancies. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Freezing transactions prevents movement that can cause mismatches between physical counts and system records. Counting during peak hours increases error risk. Using historical averages lacks real accuracy. Allowing transactions but flagging discrepancies addresses symptoms, not root cause. Question 11. Under the assumption that a company frequently transfers goods between multiple warehouses in different time zones, Jack needs the system to manage shipment dates without manual recalculations. Which configuration ensures accurate transit time calculations? A. Inter-organization transit time setup. B. Defaulting rules for ship dates. C. App rules with lead times. D. Calendar exceptions for warehouses. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Setting inter-organization transit times ensures Oracle calculates correct shipment and arrival dates automatically based on predefined lanes. Defaulting rules don't handle transit duration. App rules manage availability, not physical transport timing. Calendar exceptions handle non-working days but don't inherently calculate transit delays. Question 12. From multiple perspectives, Helen is reviewing the item master and needs to restrict certain attributes so only the corporate inventory manager can modify them. Which control feature applies? A. Item cross-reference. B. Attribute controls in item master. C. Item validation organization. D. Category set assignments. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Attribute controls allow defining who can edit specific item attributes, ensuring governance. Item cross-reference links alternate identifiers. The item validation organization standardizes definitions but doesn't restrict editing rights. Category sets group items but don't limit attribute modification rights. Question 13. In the absence of correct lot control, a pharmaceutical company risks mixing batches. NOAA must enforce traceability for expiration dates and manufacturing origin. Which configuration is most appropriate? A. Serial number control. B. Lot control with expiration date tracking. C. Material status control. D. Sub-inventory restrictions. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Lot control with expiration tracking ensures each batch is traceable and compliant with shelf life regulations. Serial numbers track individual units but not batch-level attributes. A material status control restricts movements, not lot data. Sub-inventory restrictions limit storage locations, not batch traceability. Question 14. The core principles of demand-driven fulfillment require assigning supply sources based on predefined rules when multiple options exist. Which configuration best supports this in order management? A. App rule. B. Sourcing rule. C. Reservation method. D. Shipping parameter. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Sourcing rules define supply priorities between organizations, suppliers, or sub-inventories. App rules validate availability but don't decide source priority. Reservation methods dictate allocation timing but not source selection. Shipping parameters affect delivery but not sourcing logic. Question 15. In a modern context of pricing automation, a business needs surcharges applied for orders below a certain quantity threshold without manual intervention. Which pricing mechanism fits? A. Price list with qualifiers. B. Manual price adjustment. C. Modifier with minimum quantity condition. D. Custom workflow rule. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. A modifier with minimum quantity conditions automatically applies surcharges when order quantity falls below a threshold. Price lists with qualifiers set base pricing but not quantity-based surcharges. Manual adjustments lack consistency. Custom workflows could achieve this but are overcomplicated for the scenario. Question 16. By evaluating order scheduling, Liam notices certain orders reserve stock from a warehouse not closest to the customer, causing delays. Which setting should he adjust? A. Sourcing rule rank. B. App components. C. Demand class assignment. D. Pick release rule. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Adjusting sourcing rule rank ensures preferred supply sources are chosen first, typically closer to the customer. App components check availability but don't reprioritize sources. Demand class grouping affects allocation priority but not location selection. Pick release rules impact fulfillment timing, not source selection. Question 17. Examining the consequences of not freezing inventory during physical counts, Michelle observed large mismatches due to concurrent transactions. Which preventive action should be taken? A. Freeze transactions in the counting scope. B. Increase count frequency. C. Use historical adjustments. D. Schedule counts during off hours only. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Freezing transactions eliminates the root cause of discrepancies by locking quantities during counting. Increasing frequency still allows transaction interference. Historical adjustments correct past issues but not prevent them. Off-hour counts help but don't guarantee no concurrent transactions. Question 18. With respect to integration between order management and receivables, Ethan must ensure invoices are generated immediately after ship confirmation without manual intervention. Which process enables this? A. Auto invoice interface. B. Pick release. C. Workflow background process. D. Shipping execution report. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Auto invoice creates invoices automatically from shipped order lines, ensuring timely billing. Pick release moves items towards shipping but not invoicing. Workflow background process drives order flow but doesn't create invoices by itself. Shipping reports provide documentation, not transactional billing. Question 19. Throughout the course of warehouse reorganization, Sarah wants certain sub-inventories to hold only inspection-pending goods. Which setup ensures compliance? A. Locator control with rules. B. Sub-inventory status restriction. C. Cost group assignment. D. Inventory min-max planning. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Sub-inventory status restriction ensures only goods with specific status. E. G. Inspection pending can be stored there. Locator control manages physical mapping, not status. Cost group assignment affects costing, not storage restrictions. Min-max planning focuses on replenishment, not compliance. Question 20. Taking into account seasonal promotions, Kevin needs price breaks applied when customers purchase above a defined quantity tier. Which setup best meets the need? A. Price list with static prices. B. Manual discount entry. C. Modifier with tiered pricing. D. App rule with discounts. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Tiered pricing modifiers automatically apply discounts at defined quantity thresholds, ensuring consistency. Static price lists don't change based on quantity. Manual discounts risk errors and inconsistency. App rules check availability and have no impact on pricing. Question 21. Considering the evidence, Michael observes frequent stockouts despite inventory levels appearing sufficient. He suspects errors in unit of measure conversions between purchasing and inventory. Which setup ensures accurate stock tracking? A. Define units of measure and conversion rules. B. Use default purchase unit only. C. Ignore secondary units for simplicity. D. Set inventory to base unit only. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Defining units of measure and conversion rules ensures accurate translation between purchasing, receiving, and inventory transactions, avoiding stock discrepancies. Using only default purchase units or base units can misrepresent quantities in other processes. Ignoring secondary units risks misalignment during transfers or sales, causing operational and reporting errors. Question 22. From a practical standpoint, Jessica notices that certain items are allocated automatically to high-priority customers even before shipment. Which Oracle EBS feature governs this behavior? A. Reservation method at order line. B. Material status control. C. Pick release process. D. Sourcing rule rank. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Pick release controls when items are allocated and staged for shipment. Reservation methods define allocation policies but don't initiate physical preparation. Material status restricts movement but doesn't drive allocation timing. Sourcing rule rank prioritizes supply sources but does not trigger the reservation workflow. Question 23. In the absence of proper category set assignments, David finds reporting of item groups inconsistent across organizations. Which action ensures standardized classification for reporting? A. Assign items to category sets. B. Create separate item masters per organization. C. Use only item descriptions. D. Implement sub-inventory labels. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Category sets group items under standardized hierarchies, enabling consistent reporting, analysis, and validation across inventory organizations. Separate item masters duplicate effort and reduce consistency. Item descriptions are free-form and error-prone. Sub-inventory labels organize storage but do not provide classification for reporting purposes. Question 24. While examining inter-organization transfers, Rachel wants to track in-transit items' accounting impact separately from on-hand balances. Which configuration should she use? A. In-transit inter-org transfer. B. Direct inter-org transfer. C. Sub-inventory transfer with status change. D. Dropship delivery. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Drop-ship delivery bypasses internal inventory and directly tracks costs and revenue separately, minimizing impact on on-hand balances while maintaining accounting transparency. In-transit transfers track stock movement but impact inventory balances differently. Direct transfers adjust balances immediately. Sub-inventory status change alone does not separate accounting treatment. Question 25. With respect to cycle counting, Samuel notices recurring discrepancies in high turnover items. Which method ensures ongoing accuracy without halting operations? A. ABC cycle counting method. B. Full physical inventory only. C. Historical average adjustments. D. Random sampling without tracking. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Using historical average adjustments alone is insufficient for accurate reconciliation. EBS cycle counting prioritizes high-value or high-velocity items, ensuring focused and effective counts without interrupting operations. Full inventory halts operations. Random sampling lacks systematic coverage, and historical adjustments correct after discrepancies rather than preventing them. Question 26. Based on the information from order-to-cash analysis, Laura observes that certain orders repeatedly trigger workflow holds due to pricing discrepancies. Which approach prevents this without bypassing controls? A. Review and correct price list and modifiers. B. Manually override each order hold. C. Disable pricing validation workflow. D. Allow orders to auto-approve regardless of price. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Manually overriding each order hold is inefficient but allows urgent processing while maintaining system integrity. Reviewing and correcting price lists is proactive but may not address all exceptions immediately. Disabling pricing validation undermines financial control. Auto-approving orders bypasses governance and can cause revenue loss or compliance issues. Question 27. Through the lens of inventory management, Peter wants to ensure serialized items are never issued from a restricted sub-inventory without approval. Which setup enforces this? A. Material status control with serialization. B. Locator control only. C. Reservation method. D. Sourcing rule priority. Answer. Correct answer. A. Explanation. Material status control, when combined with serialization, prevents unauthorized movement of serialized items from restricted subinventories. Locator control organizes physical storage but doesn't enforce movement rules. Reservation methods allocate stock but don't prevent unauthorized issuance. Sourcing rules select supply sources but don't restrict transfers. Question 20. To illustrate this point, Vanessa wants the system to automatically apply freight charges to orders based on shipment weight and destination without manual input. Which configuration achieves this? A. Carrier and freight setup with pricing rules. B. Manual freight entry at order release. C. Shipping execution report adjustment. D. Pick release workflow only. Answer. Correct answer. B. Explanation. Manual freight entry allows immediate customization but risks inconsistency. The correct automation requires carrier and freight setup with pricing rules to ensure freight charges are calculated accurately based on weight, distance, and delivery conditions. Shipping reports document shipment but do not compute costs. Pick release handles order processing, not freight. Question 29. When analyzing reservations for high-demand products, Ian observes that allocations are made before stock confirmation, leading to customer service issues. Which configuration resolves this? A. Reservation at scheduling based on promise date. B. Immediate reservation upon order booking. C. Deferred reservation on pick release. D. Soft reservation until shipment. Answer. Correct answer. C. Explanation. Deferred reservation on pick release ensures that stock is allocated only when it is physically staged for shipment, preventing over-allocation and backorder conflicts. Immediate booking reservations risk assigning an available stock. Reservation by promise date may misalign with inventory timing. Soft reservations are tentative and can be overridden, risking fulfillment errors. Question 30. In terms of direct material issues, Rachel needs to ensure miscellaneous issues are properly accounted for while maintaining traceability to departments. Which method should she use? A. Miscellaneous issue transaction with accountable department. B. Direct adjustment in inventory. C. Interorganization transfer. D. Physical inventory adjustment. Answer. Correct answer. D. Explanation. Physical inventory adjustments do not maintain department-level traceability. Miscellaneous issues linked to accountable departments ensure both proper accounting and auditability. Direct adjustments bypass standard procedures and may misstate balances. Interorganization transfers move stock between locations but don't record internal departmental usage.